I am doing the weekly astrology for September 22nd through 28th, 2024. We are at the fall equinox, and while we seek that balance between the light and the dark within, the world will feel as if it is pulling us more on the dark side and taking us all for a ride into the places where we need to reclaim our heart. For each person, that will feel different, but the goal is to find a new place of harmony where our capacity to be more honest and authentic is heightened. September 22nd, the Sun will move into Libra and Venus moves out of Libra and into Scorpio while the Moon moves into Gemini. How do we ride the waves of seasonal changes in life while staying present in our choices and actions? This day feels as if we are standing in a void between our past and our future. One doorway leads backwards, and we reflect on how much has transpired for good and perhaps not so good. The other doorway leads towards a new future, and we realize that something big is changing, and we will have to be very deliberate in our choices and decisions. We stand between these two doorways, and we feel a bit in limbo as we try to find our footing and be on more solid ground. This moment is a place where uncertainty exists, and we now are asked to have the courage to face that reality with grace, clarity, and a newly defined purpose. Expect to feel as if there is a struggle to stay calm while figuring out how to embrace the conflicts that continue to arise. While we are in the sign that wants balance and harmony, those that cannot seem to find it in the outer world will seek it other ways. That means that spiritually, we can develop and reach for things that matter to our soul's development, or we may seek to move in the direction of forms of death because Venus moving into Scorpio. We will notice where we need to open our perspective and look at things very differently. It seems many of us just want peace and to rest, but the rules of life keep getting in the way. This is a time of profound change as something is rising from the depths and forcing us to transmute many mysteries into magic. Venus wants us to embrace life and to remember those things that give us great pleasure and confidence. But Scorpio wants to look at the unseen and bring us to a place where depth matters, and it calls to our spirit to explore those places where parts of ourselves were left behind. This astrological combination intends to strip us down from what we thought we wanted and instead move us into what will crack us open. This week, we will notice that either we need to drastically change or we have already changed and now we need a break to break out of that old shell and be seen as this very new thing. September 25th, the Moon moves into Cancer. What really matters? That is the question today. We will notice that connection and family matters. Making others feel safe and comfortable matters. Figuring out how to be comfortable in our own skin matters. Today it might be difficult to figure out how to do all of that gracefully. Sometimes we look at our frailty and our human condition with a new set of eyes. Sometimes we are forced to see beyond our own narrow viewpoint and into the suffering of others. Today we are learning another lesson around compassion and care. To do that effectively, we will need to recognize that each soul will suffer in various ways in order to break our heart open and allow compassion to expand that heart into becoming less selfish and more authentic. Today, notice all those moments in the past where you felt as if the universe pulverized your heart into softening and expanding. Then notice that today is another one of those days. Be kind to yourself and others that might be suffering. Stretch into becoming a more loving person and one that allows for others to feel safe when you are around. September 26th, Mercury moves into Libra and the Moon will enter Leo. Clearly, this week is all about expanding love and allowing the intimacy inside to move us into places where we can become more honest. That is how we will find the new balance that we so desperately require. Mercury in Libra wants us to look at the thoughts and communication that is going to work for us in the long run. We are going to be challenged to address how to process and organize everything right now. What is clear is how we used to see things no longer seems to apply. We must address the fact that our thoughts create the reality, and in doing that, we have to look at if this reality is what we wanted to create. If it is not, then we will have to make some drastic changes. Emotionally, we need more balance and to have a fair and objective perspective. Many decisions will need to be made, and it will be easier if we learn to work together. This is a week where life feels as if we are in a paradox, and that is the truth. We each have one foot here on the earth and one foot in a spiritual realm. We are both the light and the dark. We have done good and bad things in this life. We are in a paradox because we need to embrace that we are the paradox. Realize that just being here now is a miracle. Just living this life is a wonder. And if that is true, then we have succeeded in ways that perhaps we cannot fully understand yet. When we embrace all that we are, we transcend the suffering and remember that we are just a spark of love seeking expression in this reality. Thanks, everyone.